Hey, Mr. Chang here. Going to answer 3 more questions from my subscriber, my user, Jerwin in period 4 and 7. These are all related to the skill KAR. I had a separate video just to answer one. I'm going to answer 3 questions here, so I'm going to write this up. KAR in IXL. That's the IXL skill we're talking about. And remember, this one's graded. So once again, select the expressions that are equivalent. Equivalent means the same as 8 times 5a. Expression is half an equation or half of an inequality. Just one side. Okay, so 8 parentheses 5a is the same as 8 times 5a. All these little, that's the same. So you've got 5a's, and now you have 8 groups of 5a. So this is really the same as 40a, right? So now you got to go and look and evaluate each of these answer choices and see, does it equal 40a? Is 8 times a times 5, does that equal 40a? So I'll switch my color here so you can see what we're doing. Let's get this in blue. So there's a couple ways you could do this. I think the first thing is remembering PEMDAS. You take a and you multiply it by 5. So if you have 1a and you multiply it by 5, you end up with 5a inside the parentheses, and then you've got the 8 outside. And is 8 parentheses 5a the same as this up here? Is it the same as 40a? Yes. So I'm going to come over here and say, absolutely, I'm going to select this. This works. We're happy. Now, what about 5a plus a? Well, you've got 5a plus 8, and that's not the same as multiplication. And if you remember, you cannot combine, a term with a variable with a constant, right? These do not go together. So this just has to, you have 5a's, you don't have 40. So does this equal 40a? It does not. You have 5a's, not 40, and then you have this little 8 standing out there by itself. So this one doesn't work. Boo, sad. A plus 13, does that equal 40a? No, I can't find 40a's. There's only one a right there, and there's 13 ones by themselves. So that's 1a plus 13 ones. That does not equal 40a. Boo. I'll just say that up here again. There's 5a's and there's 8 ones. And then what about here? Well, we've got 1a, because a by itself is there's just one of them, plus 40 ones. That does not equal 40a. So this one doesn't work either. Boo, sad. All right, that's my first one. Let's check out the other 2 questions that Jerwin emailed me. Select expressions where 5 times 4n are equivalent. So let's see. Do this one really quickly. I'm going to switch to blue. So 5, this is just like the one before it, times 4n is the same as 20n. You have 20 n's. You had, if I'm going to draw this out, you would have n, 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 n. That's 4 groups of it. That's 4 n's right there. This 4n is also the same as n plus n plus n plus n, which is 4 n's. But now we've got 5 groups of them. 5 groups of 4 n's. N, 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 n. So all together, if you add these all up, you've got 20 n's. So we got to look at each of these expressions and see which of them have 20 n's. So let's start with the first one. The first one, we have 4 n's and 5 1's. 4 n's and 5 1's. And that does not equal 20n. So this one is a no, sad face. The next one, 5 times n plus 3n. This looks a little interesting. There's 2 ways you could do it. So I'm going to go with a little blue. We're actually going to go green again. So the first way is to use the distributive property, which you go 5 times n, and then you go 5 plus 5 times 3n. And so you get 5n plus 15n, right? That was 5 times n plus 5 times 3n. And that gets you 5n plus 15n, which gets you 20n. That looks good. So that one seems to work. The other way that you could have done this is actually just do what's inside the parentheses first. So you would have 4n. Let me do it over here. This is your second way, which is the PEMDAS way, where you could have gone n plus 3n, parentheses, times 5. n plus 3n gets you 4n. 4n times 5 equals 20n. That is exactly the same as what you had over here. So this one works. We are happy. I'm going to close out of this. It's getting super messy. Don't save. Let's reopen it up. Let's bring it back. So this one we said again was no good. So we did this one. This is just 4 n's plus 5 1's. 4 n's plus 5 1's. So this is a no. Unhappy. The next one over, we solved it 2 different ways, and we said that it did equal 20n, and we did the distributed property, and we also did PEMDAS. So this is yes. So this is happy. Let's look at number 3. So we've got 5 1's plus 4 n's. Does that equal 20n? No, it does not. So this is not working for me. Unhappy face. Remember, these, unless they have, you can only combine, and when I say combine, I mean add. You can only add things together if they are the same or like terms. And because this one is 4 times a variable, and this is just 5 by itself, you can't add them together. You can't combine them. So let's look at this last one. So 4 plus n times 5. Just like I said before, you can't just combine the 4 and the n. They're different things. So you have to use, there's only one way to solve this. I'm going to use the screen again. There's only one way to solve this, and that's to use the distributive property. You can't really do what we did in this one. You can't really do the second way to solve it, which was PEMDAS. So let's use the distributive property where we take the 5 and we multiply it by the 4, and we multiply it by the n. And so the first thing that we do is we get 5 times 4 plus 5 times n. And that gets us 20 plus 5n. You can't combine these because this is 1's and this is 5n. And is 20 1's plus 5n equal to 20n? It is not. So unhappy. This does not equal 20n. This does not work. We're not happy. So the only one that you would have selected is this one, number 2. Happy, happy, happy. All right, Let's move on and do the last one. Let's not save this. That Jerwin asked about. Let's select the expressions that are the same as 5 times h plus 8. So we will use the distributive property here. We'll take that 5 and multiply it by h, and we'll take that 5 and we'll multiply it. Distributive. And so this is really just the same as 5 times h plus 5 times 8, which is 5h plus 8. So let's see which other of these get us the same thing. So this one, we're going to go 8 times h and 8 times 5. Again, we're going to use the distributive property, and we're left with 8h plus 40. And that is not the same. So no, not liking this. 40h plus 5, is that the same as this? Same? No, not the same. We only have 5 h's. They have 40. We have 8 ones. They have 5 ones. This is not the same. What about this? What if the 5 is on the other side? Well, we do the same thing, and we do the distributive property just in reverse. And we end up with 5 times 8 plus 5 times h, and that gets us 40 plus 5h. And is that the same? Oh, look at that. Did I make a mistake here? This should be, let me get my eraser. Erase, erase, erase. Should be 40, because 5 times 8 is 40. So, yes, same. So this works. Happy. And let's go over here. 5 times 8, 5 times h, again using distributive property. And we get 5 times 8 plus 5 times h. That's 40 plus 5h. Is that the same? Yeah, because the order, we got 41s right there. We got 5 h's. You add them together. Even though the order is a little bit different on both of these both work. So you would select the last 2 answers to make this work. All right, thank you for sharing those questions, Jerwin. Hope this helped. Keep sending those questions. I love doing math.